I'm Jason Mraz in search of incredible, and I'm here in Morocco in search of surf. It's where I found some of the most incredible waves in my life, and it's what attracts surfers from all around the world to this amazing region. Now, surfing is a passion for me, but I wouldn't say I'm the most incredible surfer in the world. I do know a guy, though, who is the most incredible surfer in the world. His name is Jesse Billauer, and I'd like you to meet him too. Dude.
What up?
Hey, what's up?
How's it going?
So, when did you first get involved with surfing?
Man, you know, like growing up by the beach in Pacific Palisades, I was like, man, that looks like a lot of fun out there. So I just started boogie boarding at first, and then I started longboarding just when I was like 9, 10 years old, and by the time I was 17, I was like top 100 surfers in Surfer magazine. I was like, this is what I want to do. I want to be a professional surfer. I want to surf for a living.
So what happened?
It was March 25th, 1996. I took off on this one wave, and going down the line, pulled in the barrel. When I came out, the wave hit me in my back, and I didn't really have time to put my hands up, you know, and I didn't know how shallow it was. I ended up going head first into the water and hit the shallow sandbar, and my whole body just went limp and numb and tingly. And when you're 17 and you hear that, you know, you broke your neck and that you severed your spinal cord, you may never walk again, I mean, your life just stops, you know. And at that moment, I really didn't know what to think. Is this really permanent, you know? And every day that went by, I realized that this was pretty permanent, man.
So that was 15 years ago. How long after your injury before you got back in the water?
It took me 3 years because figure out the right equipment, you know, because nobody was really doing this before me, and I didn't really know how to set up the surfboard, didn't know what to do. Yeah, so now like I have, you know, muscles up here, so I just lay down on my stomach, prop myself on my elbows, and then my friends push me into the waves, and then it's all me, and that is like so much freedom and so much independence.
The world as I see it is a remarkable place. From a bird's eye view I can see it has a well-rounded personality. From a bird's eye view I can see we are family. And it's not hard for me to love you, hard for me to love you. No, it's not a difficult thing. It's not hard for me to love you, hard for me to love you, because you are the world to me.
Even falling is fun. I'm paralyzed, but when I fall, you know, I got a really good life jacket, and I know I'm not gonna drown. I found like I could surf, you know, and that just gave me more inspiration for myself. So I realized that my story was, you know, an important story just to share. And that could bring hope and inspiration to people, whether they're disabled or not. So I got into doing motivational speaking.
I was floating face down in the water, unable to move, and luckily a wave turned me over. And
99% of the people I talk to are walking, but they come up to me and just, I've had kids that were like, I was thinking about committing suicide until I heard you talk. And I mean, man, if you could save one life, that's amazing. I just want to do the things that I love, you know. And so after my injury, I don't know, maybe 5 years after my injury, went skydiving. That was pretty amazing, you know. Then a few years after that, I went 220 miles out to sea, went cage diving with 12 to 15 foot great white sharks. I mean, that was beautiful. Like, I just figured, always have something to look forward to, and life won't be that bad.
So I told you we'd meet an incredible surfer. And by the looks of Jesse in the water, you can tell that the situation never stopped him from pursuing his dream. And in addition to his physical strength and his knowledge of the water, what really inspires me about Jesse is that he shares his strength with others. He invites you in on his journey. He invites you to share the same wave. And in surfing, that's called sharing the stoke. But it's what I call incredible.
Yeah, the world
Now that a lot of people know how I got injured through my surfing accident, the most frequent question I hear is, how do I keep such a positive attitude and outlook on life? And that's just something I'd like to share with you. So if you could do me a favor, just close your eyes for a moment. I just want you to, visualize and just see your dreams. Think about maybe where you see yourselves in a few years from now. Think about where you are, who you're with, what you're doing, and whether or not all the dreams that you're thinking about right now are, actually coming true. So you can open up your eyes. I just want you to store those thoughts in the back of your mind for a little while. I remember when I was a lot younger, I used to just wake up in the morning, brush my teeth, throw some clothes on, get some food, run downstairs, jump in the car, go to school. I played baseball, soccer, surfing. That was my life. I loved different sports. I never even thought twice about any of that being taken away. Just being able to walk, being able to feel. I didn't even think that was possible to be taken away. I remember just being able to go out and do all these sports with my friends. And that was just a beautiful gift. I always thought that, bad things happen to bad people, but, bad things happen to good people, and you need to realize that, tomorrow is never guaranteed. You really got to enjoy today, be thankful for what you have, let your friends and your family know how much they mean to you before it's too late. You never know what's going to happen. So you really got to enjoy, the moment, follow your heart, follow the things that you want to do. We're all just temporarily able-bodied. We're all going to be disabled, whether it's through old age, disease, or injury. And then that's going to be the time that you're asking for help. So why not help each other out now, and treat others the way you want to be treated. Help open the door for someone, give somebody some food, money, and just be there for each other. I started surfing when I was 9 years old, got sponsored when I was 12, traveled to Indonesia, Tahiti, Hawaii, Costa Rica, Mexico, all these places before I was 17. A month after my 17th birthday, a month before turning professional as a surfer, I went surfing like any other day. But usually I surf alone. But that morning I went and told my friends to come meet me. So I paddled out, caught a bunch of waves. My friends started showing up. Then I took off on a wave, and as I was going down the line, I pulled inside of this barrel, and then the wave hit me on my back, and I went head first into the water, and I ended up hitting my head on the shallow sandbar, and my whole body just went limp and numb and tingly, and I was floating there, face down in the water, unable to move. Luckily, my friends came over. I remember the wave turned me over, and I just called for help. My best friend came over, and I told him, you got to keep my head above water, or else I'm going to drown. Kept repeating that over and over, and next day I remember I was on the beach, laying on the sand, couldn't move. All my dreams were flashing in front of my eyes. I wanted to be that pro surfer, be in that big feature film movie, graduate college and have that wife and kids. So really nervous, really scared. Next thing I remember, I was in the hospital on this rotating bed, tubes coming out of my throat and my arms. I honestly thought that a couple months I'd be all right. I didn't know anything about being paralyzed. Unfortunately, that's not what happened. And after a while, I got to go home, sleep on my own bed. I never really knew how much I missed my own house, and food until it was taken away. A lot of us in life, whether it's in relationships, jobs, or at school, we say, oh man, you know what, that's way too hard. That's impossible, you know, I can't do that. And usually you say those things before you even try. You give up on things before trying. I was at my uncle's house, staying in his guest bedroom after my injury, and I was laying in bed. I needed something from the car, so I had my friend walk outside. It was just me and him in the house, so we walked outside. But when he closed the door to the front door, it locked the house, so I was stuck by myself. I didn't really know how I was going to be able to open the door for him to come help me. And in my room, about 5 or 6 feet away from my bed, was a sliding glass door. And instead of locking the door, you could put a piece of wood in the track. It's kind of like the ghetto way of locking things, man, so you can't slide the door open. So I looked over and I'm like, oh, you know, I don't have any special genie powers. I don't walk. I don't know how I'm going to get this piece of wood. So I always told myself that I never want to fall out of my wheelchair and get hurt, fall out of bed and get hurt. So I looked around and I grabbed these pillows and these blankets and I just threw them all on the floor. And what I did was I just counted to 3. I ended up rolling off the bed and landed on these pillows and blankets. And then I started crawling over like Commando G.I. Jesse, right? I was moving super slow like a turtle. But eventually, I reached out and I picked up the piece of wood. My friend opened up the door. You know, and he picked me off the ground and we put it back in bed. As I lay there, I realized that as long as you follow your heart and your mind, all the things that you thought were impossible or way too hard, you might actually be able to accomplish. So at least try, you know, and you can feel good about yourselves for at least trying. Even if you don't accomplish something, as long as you gave it your all, nobody can be mad at you and you can feel good about yourselves. You know, I've traveled a lot of places in the world, and you know, a lot of us don't realize how lucky we are, you know, to have our health, have an education, family, food, clothes, money. A lot of those people in the world don't have those things. You know, I was in San Diego at this Challenge Athletes Foundation where there was kids, you know, that were, you know, a lot of your age, that were running, swimming, riding bikes. But the difference between them and you was the majority of them didn't have any arms, some didn't have any legs, some didn't have any arms or legs. And there's this one little girl, she was like 13 years old, she didn't have any legs. So the foundation, they gave her a bike that she can pedal with her arms. So at first when she was trying to ride this bike, she didn't really know what she was doing, and she was kind of running into people on the boardwalk. But a few moments later, she learned how to ride this bike, and she was weaving in and out of people. And what I saw was this big smile on her face. And that made me realize that it's not about how you look on the outside, but it's about how you feel on the inside that really shapes who you are. And until you're confident and satisfied with yourself, nobody else can be confident and satisfied with you. So you have to make sure that you're happy before you can make other people happy. So sometimes just spend a little time by yourself, you know, and think about, you know, what are my dreams? What are my goals? You know, what's my passion in life? What do I love to do? Once you figure out what you love, life will have that much more meaning, it will be that much more beautiful, and you'll have more direction, you know, and no matter what happens to you, you'll still be able to enjoy life. Yeah, you might need a little bit more help, it might take you a little bit longer to accomplish something, but you could still do the things that you love, you know. And for me, after my accident, I had a choice. Was I gonna go down that negative road, stay home, feel sorry for myself, and not follow my dreams? Or was I gonna go down the positive road, still enjoy my life, still follow my dreams, you know, even though I was paralyzed? That's what I did, you know. And after my injury, I started a foundation that helps other people with disabilities get out in the water to surf. It's called They Will Surf Again. The foundation's called Life Rolls On, but we take them surfing, skiing, skateboarding. A lot of people that get injured are young, you know, and they're active, and they still want to go out there and be in the world, and so we allow them to be able to have that independence and freedom that they lost, you know. And I remember after my accident, I was surfing with my friends, and they pushed me into waves, and I remember I rode a wave all the way to the inside, and when I fell off at the end, I was floating there and waiting for them to come get me, and I looked up in the sky and I realized that, all my dreams weren't flashing in front of my eyes anymore. I was actually living my dreams. I did get to surf in a professional event at the US Open of Surfing in front of 100,000 people for the last 10 years. I did get to be in a big feature film movie called Step Into Liquid, and I have a documentary movie in my life called Jesse's Story. I did graduate college in 2002 with a communication degree at San Diego State University. And then about the wife and kids, man, only, it's take my time and figure that out, and no rush, just enjoying life and figuring out, what's best for me and still following my dreams. And I got a chance to go cage diving with 12 to 15 foot great white sharks. I went skydiving. I became the first person in a wheelchair to get towed in with a jet ski and surf 8 to 10 foot waves in Fiji. I got sponsored by Honda, and they made me this custom Honda Element. I told them I wasn't a minivan kind of guy, So I said I needed a tricked out Honda Element with 20-inch rims, all blacked out, alligator leather, sound system, and that's what I got. So now I'm driving, and that independence is beautiful, But I just want you guys to know that everybody in this room, is a hero to somebody, and everyone has a role to play, and you got to stay positive, because a lot of people that look up to you, and, I'm one person making a difference in this world, so don't let anybody tell you that one person can't make a difference, because that one person could be you. So follow your dreams, follow your heart, and let everyone around you know how much they mean to you before it's too late, and realize that, life is super precious, yet it's really beautiful, and, take advantage of your independence and your freedom, because it's priceless. So thanks a lot for having me.